osegulila mutima mwake uyu muntu. Nondekotela patonto bakuganiza yelele uyu muntu. Nenuona lini kwino nuona ngati nina machawi zonse. Wachitachikandeleka nzelu zonse mwikatela pali uyu mwana lume. Chifukwa neo nikakonda yelele nakundelaji. Mwana lume uyu unidabusha chifukwa kanjiji uchitokumbusha kuti yakukondeko. Alume wangu aba unidabusha kumanga onilesha wala matrozi. Omanu tetauni ndiye number 1 kukumbila na kazi wala matrozi. Alume wangu aba onidabusha chiake onilesha mafuta oswetesha.
Hello?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is TV Bakwetu, Mapanza Nkwilimba, bringing another episode of hearing from constituencies. So in fact, today we are not going to hear from the constituencies, but we'll hear from, again, from the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, the one who is responsible for technical services, that is PS Wisdom Warrior. Thank you, sir. Welcome again to TV Bakwetu.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Could you unmute yourself? Can you hear me? Hello, 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 PS. Can you hear me?
Good evening, viewers. Apologies for that. This is hearing from the constituencies with Mr. Mapanza Nkwilimba. And I think as you've noticed, there's been some technical issues in terms of trying to speak to the PS. And I think Mr. Nkwilimba is probably trying to get hold of a PS. And this is TV Bakwetu. When things happen like this, we just have to be ready, and we have to go with the flow. And on the same issue of the Community Development Fund, CDF, for me, I think it's a great opportunity for so many people to use it to develop, to grow. And this is a great opportunity that has been given to all of us as a country to be able to say, to be able to use this to develop. PS, if you can hear, I can see you're trying to come through YouTube, and I'm not able to put you on the stream through there. And we got Mr. Mapanza Nkwilimba back. So over to you.
Yeah, I'm wondering, what is happening with the PS. He called me, and he's saying that he's not managing to join us. So I just encouraged him to try again, because he was in the program. We could not, he could not hear us. We could hear him, but he couldn't hear us. So I hope he will be able to join us. It's really these technical challenges that we have really doing us some kind of disservice. But we'll continue. Let's see what happens and see if you join us. This is a program where we discuss what is happening in the constituencies as regards the Constituency Development Fund. So it's an opportunity that we have.
Honorable, if you can hear, if you can try to come through the link. I think you're trying to come through YouTube, and I cannot add you onto the stream that way. So if you can just follow the stream, the link that was sent to you. Sorry, go on.
Yes, I wonder if you can hear us. Yeah, so okay, this is a program where we try to discuss what is happening in constituencies, in as far as the Constituency Development Fund is concerned. So we have been talking to different people over a period of time now, and we were able to bring the Permanent Secretary for Technical Services in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Mr. Wisdom Warrior, at the beginning of our programs. We were hoping that he would join us again this evening. We tried last week, it couldn't work. And today we are having, again, technical challenges. He's trying to join us, but he is unable to. So, as you know, Constituency Development Fund is a reality. It's no longer a dream. Funds so far have been released, and there is action happening in all the wards throughout this country. I hope that wherever you are, if you are in Zambia and you are a member of the community, I hope that you are aware of what is happening in your ward, because these funds are going right down at the lowest level where people are. The government decided to give money where people are. instead of administering this money in Lusaka, it is money that has gone right where people are. So this is a great opportunity for people at the grassroots level to participate in deciding how they want to use that money. 25.7 million to be released every year. And this is only the first year. For the next 5 years. That's a lot of money. If you multiply 5 years by 25.7 million, that's the kind of money that you expect to come to where you are, right at the constituency level. And so, please, if you are not aware of this, begin to educate yourself. Know that you can participate where you are. You know, every Zambian lives in a ward somewhere. Every Zambian lives in a constituency somewhere. So if you're not aware, please know that there is this constituency development fund. And wherever you are, you can participate in making decisions on how this money can be used. So please be interested, be a good citizen. If you are not aware of this, find out from your member of parliament where your ward is and who are the people that have been elected by the community to be on the ward development committee. Because that's the group of people that have offered themselves after having been elected by their communities to serve you. Right now, a lot has happened. In some places, we began with the disbursement of the CDF fund for 2021, which was at 1.6 million per constituency. Having done that, the disbursements for 2022 have begun. And in earnest, we have had the secondary schools boarding bursaries announced. And also we have had the skills development bursary announced also. And I know that in some areas, even the community development projects proposals have been announced. So people are busy everywhere at the community level. We have had many young people seeking help, some of them looking for assistance in form of bursaries to enable them to attend boarding schools. And then we have had a lot of young people also coming, seeking help to be supported so that they can go and do a skills development course somewhere. So this is something that has started in earnest. If you are interested in getting support to get a skill, what you need to do is to go to any institution near you or wherever you can and seek a place. When you are offered a place in an institution, then you can approach the Ward Development Committee in your area to apply for a bursary to enable you to attend the training. There are a number of there are a number of institutions that are offering different skills development programs. Things like automotive mechanics, tailoring, bricklaying, plumbing, hairdressing, and things like those. And most of these courses are, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, and there are some that are slightly above 1 year, maybe 1.5 years. So if you are interested, you are a young person who has been doing nothing and you'd want to acquire a skill, do look for a place in an institution that offers training. And when you are offered a place, do go to your ward development committee, and then you can get a form either from the constituency office or the council, or from the ward development committee in your area, and then you apply. And it's that easy. Once you apply, the ward development committee is going to review your application and send it over to the constituency development committee, for consideration. This is an opportunity that you cannot miss. Young people, wherever you are, you have been crying for assistance. Don't just cry for assistance. Help has come. Help is near where you are. Do not waste your time. You have an opportunity to gain a skill through an institution, and the funding is there. So do not waste any more time. Do not waste your time drinking. Do not waste your time playing around. The government has ensured that the young people are helped. So do not blame anybody if you do not improve your life. You have been given a lifetime opportunity. This is an opportunity that can change your life. So please hurry up. Go to, a number of institutions will be opening soon. Some of them in a month's time, others are opening in June, others are opening in September. But this is the time to, for you to go and apply for a place in an institution, in a college that offers skills development. And once you get that, apply for a bursary and you will be supported. Of course, the things that you need to do, you get an offer letter from an institution, and also you get a recommendation letter from a community leader. It could be a headman, it could be a pastor, a church person, or it could be, the headmaster or the head teacher of your former school. Those are the things that you need to support your application. So that is, and also now we know that in some councils, the community development projects, there has been an announcement requesting wards to submit community development projects, and also other programs. For example, those that are meant to empower youth and women. Those that want to get loans for whatever business they want to do that can fit within the resources that are allocated for that purpose. So this is real. It's not something that is just being talked about. It is something that has come. Constituency Development Fund is a reality, and the money has been released, and it is available to be utilized at the ward level. So, talking about other things other than the skills development bursaries, if you have not yet formed a cooperative or you haven't formed a business, young people, women, you can actually join a cooperative that is already in existence, or you can organize yourselves, as young people, you can form a cooperative, or if you're an individual, you can form a company, and you can apply, for assistance through the ward development committee, so that you can benefit from the constituency development fund. It's really, initially we have had, some people could not believe that this was real, and but let me encourage you. This is real. We'll see a lot of activity. In fact, there are a lot of activities already, at the world level as people organize themselves. And for example, here in Lusaka, we have people lining up, at Pakra, because they are trying to register their cooperatives. So it's encouraging to know that a number of people have realized that this is an opportunity that they cannot miss, and so they are busy registering their cooperatives. So again, let me just encourage you wherever you are, and please be parents, guardians. You may have children in your communities that are doing nothing. This is a real opportunity where they can do several things. They can go get trained in a skill, and these skills are going to be very, very important in the community, at community level. Because as you know, the ideal situation is that when there is infrastructure being developed at a ward level, for example, if it's building of a clinic or building of a school, the skills that will be required should be within the community. We should have bricklayers, we should have carpenters, we should have plumbers, we should have auto mechanics, we should have all sorts of people with different skills to be able to benefit, with the resources that is coming where you are. And so for me, really, I see this first year as a foundation year. I know that the others may be ready. They may start infrastructure development, and they may have skills already available. Or if they don't have skills within their ward, they'll get that skill in the constituency or beyond their constituency if they don't have any qualified people with skills to do what they need to do in their ward. But let's say this year, 2022, is a foundation year. I look at it as a foundation year. I look at it as a year when we can begin to build a foundation where many young people, many youths will benefit beginning next year. I know some will already begin to benefit this year, but I look at it as a year where we are building the foundation. So many young people will be going to attend training so that they can have skills in the next 6 months, 1 year, so that come 2023, these young people that will have gotten these skills this year, they will be ready to benefit, to employ those skills in activities that are going to be happening in their constituencies. So it is, again, it's important that young people really get ready. And perhaps one thing I need to mention is that where there is money, people begin to position themselves so that they can have a share of that money. And already we know that there are big organizations that are preparing themselves, they're gearing up, to get a bite of this constituency fund. For example, there are companies that are planning to supply desks to schools. Now, we don't want to see a situation where big companies, begin to do everything at the expense of small-time or beginners, artisans that are just beginning, or artisans that are in the rural areas. For example, I don't see why there should be one big company that begins to supply thousands and thousands of desks to schools. We think that it will be better that, if schools are to buy desks, they should have people within their communities that are able to, use their carpentry skills and, make desks at the local level. And this is where I think, we need to protect the emerging entrepreneurs at the village level. Let's not have a situation where big companies are the ones that begin to, to supply school desks. Something with building materials. We know that there are companies that are already gearing up, making sure that they make materials available everywhere, countrywide. Again, it may be at the expense of local entrepreneurs. I would like to see a situation where, local entrepreneurs, wherever, the Western Province, Northern Province, Luapula, they are the ones that begin to benefit from the resources, the materials that will be bought for whatever infrastructure is to take place in their areas. It will really be sad if we began to see even international organizations, fighting for this resource, and then at the expense of the local communities or the local entrepreneurs. Okay, I can see Mwera. As you can see, Mwera, we are trying to see if we could have the PS back, but he had some challenges, technical challenges. He couldn't join us. But please do come in, and if you want to make any comment on what I have already said or something else that you may want to say, please, you are welcome. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thanks, Mr. Nkwilimba. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. Probably, I just want to ask, how does somebody in the outskirts? I'm a little interested in finding out how the reach is going to be, because I know there are a lot of more youths that might not even be able to access information as readily available. Are there any adverts going on our radio stations or for youth, especially in the outskirts? Because I know there are areas in the outskirts where there's no electricity. Your radios are either solar powered or battery powered. So how are they going to get the information from our politicians that there's this on offer, especially the CDF? And getting the skills, getting skills will be easy for anyone who's maybe, let's say, in the rural areas.
Yeah, I think that information is reaching communities from different people, from members of parliament, from the offices of the MP. We have parliamentary offices in every constituency. I'm sure that the MPs are interested in ensuring that their people benefit from the Constituency Development Fund. So that's one area where information is coming from. And in some of the rural areas, they are using children, schools. Information is being given by teachers, and children take that information to their parents. And there is a ward development committee in every ward, and it's also the responsibility of every ward development committee, when the council makes an announcement. For example, when they announced that they were ready to receive proposals for secondary boarding bursaries. So it's really the way, the ward development committee has to place adverts in strategic places. And I can use our case here where we have gone to churches as well, and distributed those announcements in churches so that they can pass the word around. And also political parties. I know that some political parties are active. They have their own programs where they go and visit their structures to explain, the reality of the CDF, and encouraging people to participate where they can participate. So I think that there is, there are enough avenues where this information is being shared.
Okay. I think, and then the other, probably another element I would want to find out is, You were mentioning about, get your skill, and then apply. I'm now wondering what happens if we get an influx or we get a saturation of skills available, because already we have tailors in the in the markets, at the back of the markets, and there are quite many tailors already. So I'm wondering, how will that one be handled, where people have, well, you have, maybe I'll give the same example of the tailors. You have so many tailors in one town, and you're going to definitely have more tailors in the next town and the next town, that kind of arrangement. Is there maybe a cap at particular skill sets, or?
Yeah, I think the word is any skill, and I hope that as the youth decide which skill they want to have, I wish they could have that ability to assess,
What's more
what skills
advantageous?
are saturated in their areas, and avoid those and look for skills that are rare. But I think, if the ideal was done where, even if there are so many tailors, and there are so many schools that need uniforms, if there was a deliberate effort by those that control these things, headmasters or head teachers, if they could give an opportunity, for tailors that are in the ward, to make uniforms for children in those in the schools in those wards. That's an ideal, but the reality, we know that it can, it can be difficult. The competition is going to be high. But the good thing is that there is an opportunity for tailors now to actually do things that they could perhaps not do before, because these, so we only hope that those that were not busy before, they'll have something to do. But really, I think this is a program that needs everybody's support. Institutions that need uniforms, if they can make a deliberate decision to say, let's help the youths that are tailors, and then that way, a good number of people, a good number of tailors will have something to do. So that's why really we are appealing to everybody who has some kind of influence in ensuring that our youth have got something to do. I cannot hear you. Are you muted?
Yes, sorry, I was actually. So I was saying it's an interesting one. I'm hoping that as many youth think it through and are genius at choosing what skill in a particular area.
Yeah.
That they come up with. Because I'm
Yeah.
wondering, if I say I'm a writer, how do I justify that skill? If I said I'm a, there are some of these sort of innate little skills.
Yeah.
So you have to go and look for a school and get your acceptance letter and then apply. So I'm thinking there's a lot of being genius in the approach.
Yeah. Our experience actually has been quite a challenge, for these young people, just to go and find an institution that offers a number of skills. They have to go to those institutions, and some of them, they do not have confidence. So they've had to be actually encouraged to go to those institutions and get offer letters. So there's been an issue of confidence, which we have noticed. There's lack of confidence in the young people, and just disbelief. There's a disbelief that this could not be true. That there's money that is going to be available to help them, just like that. And some of them are not sure, but we have been encouraging them to go and get those acceptance letters. And don't know, even the ability to just keep trotting from one place to another. People are struggling with the resource of transport money to send their child to go to this place, to that place. those are real challenges. It looks very small, but we have seen that actually can be a challenge for them. It can be a hindrance, for some people to access, this resource.
Mr. Nkwilimba, you mentioned that some of the sources, just listening then, so you mentioned some of the people who were given this information are other political parties. Is it not supposed to be a more government driven agenda? Because I don't think our political landscape allows a lot of letting the political party, the ruling party, do something successfully at the moment with the way politics have been run. Do we need a more hand for the government to play a bigger role in driving it? Because there are people who do not want this to succeed.
Yeah, I don't know what else the government can do. They have done a lot by allocating 25.7 million for each constituency. They have the responsibility is at the council level. The council is the one that works with the ward development committees. So the resources are going through. The CDF committee sits in the council, and when projects are presented, the reviewing committee is actually composed of all the heads of department in a council, works, health, or whatever departments are there. They are part of the team that look at the proposals, and so. In terms of how it has been set up, the council makes an announcement, and once the announcement is made, then the ward development committee begins to broadcast that opportunity. So I don't know what you would want to propose. Something that the government has been, the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, they have organized orientation programs countrywide, where they have just been going through the constituents. I mean, the guidelines, the CDF guidelines, and this is a program that has been done online. So you have people from the councils, you have people from ward development committees, participating in those orientations. It has been countrywide, and I think it has been effective. You would sit the whole morning and you have people asking questions from all over the country in terms of understanding how the fund is going to be operational. So I don't know what else they can do. Any suggestions?
I think it's some of the things that I've spoken about is communicating the message in local languages. I think that for me that's very important. I think we've been communicating a lot of things in English, and I think a lot of it gets lost to the people who need it the most. And I think we've got a project that we want to ensure that the people in the rural areas benefit from it, but we've not really communicated in a way that they can understand and they know what the meaning is. There are probably some people who don't even know that the fund ever existed. So being able to go back into the grassroots and actually communicate, do you know there's this fund? It was this amount, it's gone up to this amount of money. And I think there's almost this assumption that everybody knows about it. The reality is you probably have majority of people in small little villages who do not have an idea there's such a CDF, and they don't even know what the whole conversation is all about because they never knew it existed. It's never benefited them in the past, and they don't understand the whole thing. So for me, I think it's about going to communicate to the people. We're very slow when it comes to translating things in local languages. But actually, communication is not about how good you speak English or how good you speak French. It's about, am I going to be understood? And I think it's about communicating to the people and making sure they understand. Because we talk about the low turnout of people who are interested or people who are coming forward. Well, if people don't understand what it's about, no matter how good we packaged it, nobody will turn up. So I do motivational events, and when I set up an event, I have to make sure, who am I talking to? Who's my audience? Do my audience understand what this is about? Do they understand the benefit of them doing this? And I think the government has to revisit and actually go, who are our audience and how can we communicate to our audience to make sure they understand? And I think the law uptake, and I think there's been a lot of discussion in different constituencies to say there's been a law uptake. The law uptake is not that Zambians are lazy or they don't want to, they don't know about it.
I think added to that is equally an inertia at reading. People are not very good at reading, and we want a lot more graphics, I think, to go with things. So I think there's that element as well. So if you have no access to maybe a newspaper on a daily basis, you're missing out again on some information. So I think Mr. Nkwilimba had mentioned that they tried to get information out through teachers, schools, so that whoever's at the list, at the far furthest, can still get the information. But it's just the language. I think there's that language barrier as well that you've mentioned, which is really, really true. Like, we're so dependent on the English language that sometimes we forget those that might not even grasp it or can just hear it but can't ask a question.
Actually, okay, you are right in terms of. I mean, many people may not even know there's CDF. But I mean, for me, really, I don't think that language is really a barrier, because once there's a good message, people who get it, they'll be able to translate it in a local language when they are communicating with the rural people. It's quite interesting. I've interacted with people that are from Chinsali. There's a lot of enthusiasm there. People are participating in big numbers. Now take a contrast in the city in Lusaka. That's where it's like you have got a bigger challenge of communicating this whole program. And sometimes even people who have heard about it, they know it is there. But when you call for a meeting, for example, if you are going to present a community project, the requirement is that there should be meetings at a zone level. And zones are, structures that are at the ward level. A ward may have 10, 12 zones. And so if you are going to present any community project, there has to be a meeting at a zone level. And people that attend that meeting have to write minutes. There has to be a list of attendance, and every person that has attended has to append their signature. And so when they make that presentation, from the zone level, when they make a presentation to the ward, they will be saying these are the people that sat and agreed on this project. And it's so key, because without that, there's very little you can do at the ward development committee level, because all we do is reviewing what has been received from the zone, and then the chairman of the ward development committee signs to say we have agreed with what is report. But just to have that meeting at the zone level, in some places people are struggling. It's people that are educated, it's people that have had good positions, they are retired people, they're in these communities, but to just go and attend a meeting to discuss the development of their area, it has been such a hassle. They have the information, they know there's Constituency Development Fund, but when it comes to participating, they are not just there. So it's a combination of factors. I don't know why the apathy, and then maybe people, maybe because of the experience, previous experience, they think this is political, but this is not political. And this is one point that we have heard from people. Before we never really used it to know how the CDF was used. In some places, it was only like a few people that knew there was that 1.6 million for the Constituent Development Fund, but they didn't know how it was used. They never participated. They never participated in making those decisions. Even in a place like Chinsali, they say no. Yeah, we used to hear there was CDF before, but we never used to participate. But this time they are saying people are participating, and they are eager to to play a role in this program. So yes, there are many factors, Frank. To a certain extent, yes, communication is key. But really, look at the contrast. When you talk about these other programs, there's a program where, what do they call it? Empowerment program, social cash transfer.
Yeah, so
that one. You have people clamoring, attending those meetings. There will be so many people when they are going to receive that assistance. But when it comes to development issues, people are dragging their feet. There's another program that the FISIP, where they are giving agro inputs. When it is time for inputs, people will come, they will gather, they want to get the fertilizers. But when you're talking about this development, people are dragging their feet. So I don't know whether it's because people could not believe that this could happen, and maybe it's a passing phase. As people begin to realize that this is real, they begin to see their children being supported to attend skills development courses and programs like that. And then perhaps they'll wake up and say, this is actually real. So, but those challenges are real. But I think the good thing is that we have begun to make some progress.
Maybe they're going off the assumption of see it to believe it. So when
yeah, especially when you have especially when you look at where we have come from.
Mm.
This was for party people. It was the MP and whoever was around them. They're the ones who dealt with the 1.6 billion before.
Mm.
But this is different. Yeah. I think people are beginning to understand this is different. I have heard this from Mansa. I've heard this from Wapula. About the program. You remember, Frank? We had a program with some ward development committee members from Chinsali. It was encouraging to hear what we heard from there. Things are happening in rural areas.
Yeah, they were actually doing something about it. I was quite amazed at the amount of work they talked about they've done. So that was one of the most encouraging ones. They had done quite a great deal over there.
Yeah.
It's a massive contrast, I think, because I mean, I've asked any youth from my community and asked them, do you know about the CDF fund? Most of them are so clueless.
Well, yeah.
And this is bang in the middle of Lusaka. So you're thinking, how do you not know about it, or just not interested? So I think maybe, like you've said, the more those who get in and then tell the others. It's just a drastic contrast between the rural areas and the urban areas. So those.
Yeah. Urban areas. Yeah, it has been a challenge. I don't know why. I don't know. This is where things are supposed to be easier. We thought, you could use WhatsApp but no, that there's very few people who have smartphones in the middle of Lusaka. So some of the, what we did, like in our ward, we literally had to walk on the road, and you meet a young person and say, "What are you doing?" So, "Oh, nothing. Oh, I'm looking for a job." "Oh, how far did you go in your education?" From grade 9. "Why didn't you continue?" "Oh, my father passed away, my parents." So I said, "Okay, do you know that there is a program where you can be helped?" They are blank. And so we have to explain it, there's an opportunity for you to be helped if you can find a place in an institution. The CDF can pay for you, for you to attend that. So we have to say, can you go and tell other young people as well? And then we organized a meeting at a central place, and we thought there would be a lot of young people coming. We just thought about maybe 10, 15, even with that effort,
Yeah.
So I don't know. And some of the youths, they don't want. They just don't want to do these things.
But maybe
It's
also
like,
out of
for
interest.
them, it's like
Are you
wasting
supposed to pay back the
time.
money?
Sorry?
Are you supposed to pay back the money that's paid for you?
No, it's a bursary.
Okay, because I
It's
think
a
maybe
bursary.
that's where it's coming, and people are a little iffy, especially when they see the old, the old style, like the Sarafina who's being bullied every day. Anything she says, like, "Have you paid back the fund that you got, the youth fund that you got?" So maybe there's that initial, especially like on the basis of information, which drives us
Yeah.
back to the fact that maybe there's poor communication into the different areas or constituencies.
Yes. And of late, what we had, again, you see, this thing is time consuming. We are doing this thing part time. We don't receive sitting allowances. We just do it because we want to help the community. So you literally burn your fuel, or you walk from house to house telling them about this program. Others are just indifferent. Recently, one of us just decided to go in. And if you're in Lusaka, I don't know if you know Chilanga well, Lusaka West area, where we have places like Kampamba and which used to be Komora, now is Greenview, something like that. He had to go from house to house. A number of young people showed interest. They asked for forms. So we distributed about 20 or so forms for them to apply. Then only 2 turn up with the filled up forms. They have gotten scholar, whatever, offered places in an institution, and now they have applied for the bursary. So altogether, for example, in a place like our ward in Nyemba, we have just managed to get about 10 young people, applying for this bursary. But others, they just don't want. They just they hear, they have the information, but they don't want to do anything about it. So those are the challenges we have. So I guess there's a lot of work to be done in terms of changing the mindset of the young people. This business of wanting to receive things without working for them, I think it's spoiling a lot of our young people. They just wait to be given, but they don't want to do anything for themselves. Those are the challenge of community development. Yeah, but I hope that as we go on, this is the first year. I hope that come mid-year we'll see an improvement, because I think things like bursaries for skills development, that should be really left open-ended, because institutions don't open at the same time. They open at different times of the year. So there shouldn't be a deadline to say submit your application by this deadline. I see no reason why if an institution opens in September, somebody can still apply for bursary now, and then you wait for the time when the institution is going to be opened. So we could have people applying until maybe just before the college begins their program. So the big thing now we are waiting for, after the secondary boarding, now skills development, it's now the community projects. I think this is where there'll be more action. People want this, people want that. But again, you see, I think we still have challenges there as well, as I said earlier on. In some places, we may not even have people who are skilled, to maybe compete for that resource as contractors, for example, as builders. And so that's where some people that are already established, they may want to take advantage of that and, begin competing with the, artisans that are at community level. Those are the challenges. I don't know how we're going to, because I mean, if you have got a project, you want to build a school, and you don't have skilled people in your ward, you don't want to wait because time is money, and money, when money is made available, it's better you utilize it and realize what you want to come up with. So those are the challenges that I'm sure we'll be facing as we begin to implement community level projects.
I think I was I'm one of those that's anti anything free, because I think when you give people free things, there's that reliance syndrome that is established. And I always think when I heard because when I heard about CDF, I assumed it was going to be company or firm based. So the community looks at maybe something that's missing in their community or in the district. So you can easily say, right, maybe if I'm in Lusaka, Kamwala is going to be producing toothpicks. Komboka or whatever area will be producing maybe tissue, paper, that kind of thing. So when we went to the idea and began hearing that actually youths were able to go and apply for a bursary, I'm thinking, this free idea is a reliance sort of syndrome, and maybe it might not work. But ideally, I sort of understand the fact that you want people skilled, so when you do now create existing companies, the skill is available. So I'm thinking still more, I would have loved maybe a company formed, and then you say we need this type of skill, because then you're doing skills that are appropriate for that particular maybe industry. I look at Muflira and they say, well, the land of abundance, and I'm thinking that would be a really good place for farming, because you could easily then transport all your goods to Kasumbalesa. That's easy.
Yeah.
That location is close by. But there's a bit of an ambiguity to it when it's just like, well, go and get skills. So I think
that's as a country, we have to decide which way are we going to go and what do we want to explore, what's going to make a lot of money, because you're going to have a saturation of skills in the particular areas. So you might want to build a school in one thing and you think, right, you have a lot of builders in that area. What happens with all those builders once that school is finished? So it's where, what do we want to do? Where do we want to develop? And I think it will be a great opportunity to explore agriculture and how much we can go. And I think it's one of those industries where it's not been seen as a very fancy industry to work in. But you get it right, it's very lucrative. You can make a lot of money in there. You can have a great living. So it's kind of explore. Really, it could be a great opportunity to explore areas that have really remained unexplored. Because if you think about the things that we produce, farming will be another great area to go. You have to look at, for example, European countries. They import most of the food. So most of the food we have are imported somewhere else, from all the way, starting from South Africa from Brazil to everywhere. So that will be an area that we can explore and give our farmers the right skills and the right tools, because obviously we got supermarkets in the UK. You have to have certain things for them to buy your things off you. It's called fair trade. So there's certain things that they look at. So that would be an area that you can explore to make sure that a lot of our products meet that fair trade standard, and Zambia can make a lot of money from all of that, so that we can have skilled young people in an industry that's making a lot of money for the country.
Yeah, you are right. I'm looking at time. We we have run out of time, but let's just a quick comment. Mwera, it's not really free. What is free are things like bursaries, secondary school bursaries, skills development bursaries. But there are other things. Young people can get loans. That money is not free. They actually have to get loans, and then they have to pay over a period of time, and the expectation also is that that will be like some kind of a revolving fund which can go to other people after the others have paid. And in terms of skills, really, now Frank, it's really these are just generic when we talk about carpentry, bricklaying, or these are just we are discussing in a general term. It's open. It could be some of the children some of the youth that are being sponsored, they are going to do agricultural programs. So yeah, it can be anything. Agriculture is one of those important areas, and there are young people who are interested in doing that. We have quite a number that want to go and do something, maybe beekeeping, pottery, crop production, and all that kind of thing. So it's wide. So really, I think that is how do we begin to harness all this energy that is being generated now, making sure that those that are going to go and do agriculture, how do we manage the chain? What do you call it? The production. They produce the maize. Is there a market for it, or can they, add value where they are? So, like for example, if they are growing maize, instead of selling maize to FRA, they could actually turn it into chicken feed, something like that, and they'll be able to make more money, that way, because farmers can buy, their products to use in their portions and things like those. Well, thank you so much. There is someone who has joined us. I don't know, Frank, how do we do with this with time? Do we close it, or we just or it's a comment? It's a comment. Okay. So maybe just a minute each if there's something else that you want to say before we close this program.
I think for me, I'll go back to the same thing I said. I think it's going to be communication is the key. Let's find a way to get a message. It's a lot of money that will benefit a lot of people. But if 50% of the population don't have that access, then that money does not really benefit. So for me, it's communicate.
Yeah.
I think it's the same sentiment for me as well. Unfortunately, I think I'm hoping more councillors, especially at the bottom end of the hierarchy, political hierarchy, are out there informing their constituents that there's this available. This is how you get it. Go to this office. Do this. So I think we're lacking in that element on the information aspect. On social media and up there, we know that this CDF fund exists, but at the bottom, it's not trickling down. And people don't, especially like you said, in the urban, peri-urban areas, there's a lot of maybe inertia and disbelief. So hope that is sort of rectified on the information sector.
Right. Thank you so much, Moira and Frank, and viewers out there that have been able to join us. We forgot to do a bit of marketing during the program. Please, if you are able to, you can give us some stars, and that way you'll be helping us to bring these programs to you every day and every week. So for now, I would like to say bye, and we look forward to meeting again next week from 20 hours. It's a pity that the PS was unable to join us, but I hope that we'll be able to bring him back again next week. So bye for now, and may God bless.